Hey everyone, there's a lot of talk these days about how China is changing the world with a lot of its exports and the way it controls its currency, and that's getting a lot of play in the news. And some of that discussion is really thick. It's really heavy. A lot of it's really theoretical when it comes to monetary policy and that kind of stuff. And how does that affect us, the Canadian real estate investor on the street? Well, I want to talk to you briefly about something here. This mall, I'm in Oakville, Ontario, and this is a new mall that's going up in the area. And this mall really stands out to me for a few reasons. I want to show you this mall, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. So this mall's pretty new. It's still not even full of stores. I'll just pan around here. That's a Shoeless Joe's over there. Right here is a Sherwin-Williams paint store. That's actually one of the stores actually selling product. Then there's an animal hospital, so a service company here, an orthodontist, another service company, a spa, another service company. Licks is opening up right here. Then there's a Pho Me here, a Vietnamese food service company. Then there's a medical center here. Then there's Pizza over here. There's Great Clips, a haircutting place. There's Subway is right over here. RBC Insurance, another service-based provider here. Dry Cleaning, another service-based company. Sushi, food service. M&M Meat Shop, so they're actually a food service. And then there's your staple, the Shoppers Drug Mart here. And then around on this side on the mall here is your TD Bank in the corner here, and then of course your Starbucks coffee over here. So this really kind of strikes home for me a little bit, because I remember growing up, I grew up in Mississauga, and there was a mall just down the street from us, a little bit bigger than this, but inside that mall, it wasn't huge, but inside that mall had two big kind of department stores, a Kmart and an Eaton's. And inside the mall there was right next to it there was a butcher, and there was a bakery, and inside the mall there was a jewelry store. There was also two different furniture stores. There was a men's fashion store selling men's suits and clothing. There was a women's fashion store selling women's clothing. There was two different shoe stores inside that mall, all selling different products. And when I look at these malls today, if you kind of pan along this mall again, very few of these stores, actually there's only one store here that's selling product, this paint store, along with Shoppers Drug Mart behind me here. And as a Canadian real estate investor, that brings up some trends that are going on, some global trends that are affecting us on the streets here, that when you're investing in property, you have to be aware of, because this changes things, especially when you're trying to time the market. This kind of change in our economy changes the types of jobs that people are getting, changes the type of income that people are making. So when you're timing real estate, especially if you're trying to flip, if you're buying real estate and then trying to quickly sell it for a profit, you need to get really good at timing the market. And if you're buying commercial real estate, you need to be aware of these changes. If you're getting into commercial real estate, these changes in our economic structure really can take an effect on you. And it's something that we're going to be sharing more with Rockstar Inner Circle members in the next couple months. The April CD we're mailing out to all members this month is with one of the best timing experts that we found from the US. He writes a really good real estate timing letter, and we've interviewed him for an hour. We're going to be sharing that with all Rockstar Inner Circle members. And the following month, in May, we're going to be sharing a Canadian commercial real estate expert who's been in the business for a couple decades is going to share his information and how the changes he's seen in the commercial space in Canada, and what that means to different investors, and how different investors are taking advantage of some of those changes. So just a couple things to think about when we watch the news and read about all the different changes going on in China, and how a lot of the US discussion right now is on how China is pegging its currency to promote its exports, and it turns North American economies into consumer-driven economies who consume products instead of creating them. Some of those changes are reflected right here on the streets, and you need to be aware of these changes. You always need to keep them top of mind, especially if you're trying to time the real estate market. So something for you to think about. Hope that gets the wheels turning this morning, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.